Guys, I think something that most high-level guard passers have in common is they're able to chain their attacks together really well. So today we're going to look at a knee cut with a contingency of a back step and then another knee cut on top of it. We're going to do all this from a headquarters position. So I'm going to come out here in front of my partner and I'm going to control my partner's shins. And as I step through, my right knee shin is going to go behind my partner's hamstring like this. My left leg is going to cover Max's shin here. I step into my headquarters. Now what am I doing here? I want to make sure that my feet are on the line of Max's hips, so that way from here, Max can't just easily push me off, and also he's not going to be able to make De La Riva guard here. If my knee is close and my butt is down, make De La Riva guard, it's so tough. If I'm stuffing this leg, he can't push on my hip to push me back, okay? If my butt is low enough and Max tries to elevate me to my hands here, it's a really hard thing to do. So I've stepped immediately into a strong pass position that we like to call headquarters, okay? Again, I come out, my left hand goes to the shin, my right hand goes to the hip. Look how I turn my fingers out. One. And we start right here in this headquarters position. The first pass that I like to do from here is a knee cut. And what I do is I hop to my left and I staple my partner's knee down to the floor. Notice how my right knee is just sitting on top of Max's thigh here. And I keep my right elbow tight and my left hand here on his leg. My right elbow has to stay tight here because if it comes out, Max is going to make a knee shield and now we have to move into different passing. So when I come to headquarters, look where my right elbow is. It stays tight the entire way through. Our first pass is a knee cut. I'm going to use my right hand and punch an underhook. And my head is going to start to go down to the floor. From here, my left hand is going to gather a nice overhook. I'm going to pull super tight. I'm going to step and point my right knee back towards the wall this way. What this allows me to do is slide my foot free and finish in a tight position with my hips off the floor. My left hand is going to go underneath my partner's head. I'm going to go knee under his elbow and finish in a tight side control position, ready to attack. So again, this one just looks like this. I'm going to step into headquarters. 1, hip and knee. I staple. 2, and now watch my underhook. 3. This is the most important part of the pass. My right hand has to be under Max's armpit. If I lose the underhook, he can take my back, and I have to be very careful there. So I punch the right underhook. My head goes to the floor. I'm going to step, point the knee, and start to slide through. Now I turn to my knees, lock my hands. I finish inside control. The problem sometimes when we run into a knee cut is guys get really good at taking this underhook. And where you see a lot of beginners make the mistake is that makes them nervous to throw their knee cut. They lose confidence in their knee cut. And so they come out and they get here and their partner's really tight with that elbow and they kind of bail on it right away. I like to have full confidence in my knee cut because I know what happens next. I know that if Max beats me on the underhook, I have options, okay? My first option from here, as I underhook, look how he beats me. I can't keep going forward. If I continue to knee cut, again, Max is going to take my back. So I cannot continue the knee cut there. But what I can do as I come forward is take my right hand and catch the head. And now I fire my hips over the top into a back step. From here, I like to anchor my right hand up by the armpit. If you don't have long enough arms, this is fine too. I just like to have some form of control. And now we start passing from a back step position. There's a bunch of different ways you can pass from here. What I like to do is take my left hand and push on my partner's far knee. And as I push, I'm going to start scooting my hips back and away. Look how I create separation here. And now my left foot is going to push on Max's knee, and I'm going to drop my right foot free. Little secret on this. When I turn to my knees, I must block the hip first. Okay, so the first thing I do is put my hand to the floor, and now I turn down to side control. Why? If I go like this, and I free my foot, and now I stay here, as I turn, Max is going to make an underhook and shoot a single leg, and he will likely get it because I didn't control his hip. By simply blocking the hip, I take all that away. Okay? So again, you should put your head that way. We come out, headquarters, I go into my staple. As I knee cut, Max beats me on the underhook, Look how I back step. See where my hips are? Now controlling, I have this anchor point. A nice thing on this is that if I come into the back step, and it's a common question is, well, I get into the back step and my partner bridges me over. For Max to have a very solid bridge, he needs to unlock his feet. Go. And if his feet are unlocked, my foot's free. So if I time that bridge, I understand as Max unlocks to go, I just step my foot free. I want you to go and bridge. Go ahead. My foot comes out, and I pass the guard the same way. If Max stays very tight here, no problem. My left hand starts pushing. Look how I turn this way. And I separate my hips, okay? I'm going to rotate you here just so you can see my hips. I'm going to start separating 1 and 2. Look how far away my hips are from Max. Now my left foot goes into the knee. I push and drop my foot. Now my left hand must go here. Do not miss this step. If you stay here, guys will get to their belly. If I simply do this as I turn and Max tries to turn with me, it's almost impossible. And I can pin him so much easier from that back step, okay? Now, one thing that my coach Helio Soneca taught me back when I was a purple belt. I got really good at knee cuts. I got really good at back steps. But I would have opponents that would hold me really tight in that back step, and I felt like I couldn't go anywhere. And so one thing that we developed that I really like is to come in and back step the same way. Now, once I get to this position, Max is super tight, and again, if you're at a level where you're playing with leg locks now, obviously I can start entering the legs here. But I like to pass. So how can I pass if his legs are just so tight I can't get free? What I like to do here is take my right hand and I build up. And now watch what my right hand's gonna do. It just punches the floor. Up, here. What have I done here? I've made an underhook. Although it doesn't look like an underhook from here, it is. And if I have the underhook, I can knee cut. So I fire my hips to the other side. I pull, I step, and I knee cut through. Now I turn back to side control, and I've passed his guard in a very disorienting way. If you play this with your partner, they're gonna feel like this is almost a trick. It surprises a lot of people. Where I come out, I knee cut, I back step, and I knee cut. 1, 2, and 3. And now you've learned how to chain your guard passing together. Okay? So one more time, we come out in our headquarters position, we get into the staple. As I knee cut, Max goes, look where we are. I have to back step now. Here. From here, I start to look to pass, but I can't, he's too tight. I take my right hand, I build up, I'm under the armpit. Guys, you can just make a fist and punch it to the floor. As I jump to the other side, watch my right knee. It goes down on the floor with my head. So I'm here. With my underhook under his armpit, I've effectively nailed his shoulder to the floor. So it's an easy thing to free your hips and go to the other side. I'm gonna post my left foot, point my knee, and slide everything through. And now I finish, hips down, in a tight side control position. This is probably my favorite pass and my favorite passing system. I started using this at purple belt. I still use it today. Guys, if you want a little more detail on that headquarters setup and the knee cut itself, you can check out the video we did on the knee cut right here. And if you want more passes just like this and our full jiu-jitsu curriculum, you can go to coreprobjj.com right here.